What's up, KGS Headmaster here, and welcome back to another Friday assembly, the last Friday before half term. So loads of work and great things have been done over the last few weeks, and you've got a great week to look forward to of rest, relaxation, catching up, and getting ready for the next half term in whatever format we get to enjoy it. Remotely, back at school, probably a bit of both by the sounds of it. But let's wait until we get an announcement on the 22nd of February. Something definitely to look forward to on the other side of half term. But I'm sure you're looking forward to your half term. So you've done really well over the last few weeks. Had a great week this week. I hope you have a great day today. And so let's look back on, well, those silver linings of what we've enjoyed during lockdown, or the things that have come out that we maybe didn't expect, and those hopes for the future. But as ever in the assemblies, let's kick off with a few birthdays. I'm going to look back over this last week, but also look forward to next week during half term. So there are quite a few birthdays to mention, starting back with Monday just gone. And I'm just going to read them out in date order. You know who you are. So we've got Kazra in the lower 6, 17. Michaela in the fourth year, 15. We've got Joe hitting 13 at the beginning of the week. James hitting 16. Ethan hitting 12. We've got James 17. Millie 15. Getting to the middle of the week, Anna hit 13. Noah 13. Penny hit the big 1-8 yesterday. So many happy returns to Penny. Josh 14. Orson 13. No birthdays today. Jumping forward to Saturday. Unbelievable. No birthdays at KGS on the 12th of Feb. Okay, so here we go. Here the 13th, I've got Ellie hitting 15, Felix hitting 13, Will's 13, Sophie 12, Poppy, we're getting to next week now, Poppy 15, Roshan 14, Pablo 12, Sam Menzies, traditional Scottish name, well done Sam, don't let anybody call you Menzies. Where I was Sam's hitting the big 1-8, Louis 17, Freddie 17, Lara 16, Marco hitting the big 1-8 as well. Marco, one of my history buddies. And you got Emily 14, Clemmy 13, Jess 12 in the first year, Will 13, Fran 15, Fion 15, Mika 12, Ben 14, Olivia 13, Aisha 12. There's your list of birthdays right up to the end of next week. More to come after the half-term break. But most importantly, all you guys, whether you had it, you're having it, well, obviously not today because we said there's no birthday today, or you're going to have it, hope you have a wonderful day with your family, touch base with your friends, and that your birthday brings you everything your heart desires. You just have a super, super day. Now, so we said this week's been silver linings, hopes for the future. Got a few notes here. Mr. Simmons tells me you've been working on some challenges around things you've been looking forward to post-lockdown and beyond, gratitude journal, supportive notes to family. We've had some wonderful submissions. Got Alexandra in the first year, to the things to look forward to. Charlotte in the third year, supportive notes to family, which I really enjoyed. Again, I've got to keep checking one, make sure I don't miss anyone out. Vasco in the first year, supportive notes for his family and a post-lockdown poem as well. Well done. Tess in the first year, the holding hands drawing, being together with friends. Jess in the second year, things to look forward to. Sammy in the first year, plans for the future. And Chingiz in the first year, poem on things to be grateful for. Loads more entries have come in. Loads more entries are coming in. Keep them coming. So it's on the Monday. So it's basically once the week's finished, right up to and including the weekend, I get sent through the list of potential prize winners, and then I decide on those Amazon vouchers, headmasters commendations, etc. So those of you who did great work on diversity, and on last week's challenge as well, and previous weeks about charity and community, and say diversity and other things, you will have £25 Amazon vouchers winging their way to you, or headmasters commendations, or indeed both. So keep up the great work, and it's never too late to send in your piece of work, your poem, your journal, your notes, your drawing, whatever it happens to be. There is no there's no parameters, no limit on the amount of ideas you can show on how many you can do or how you can do it. So feel free to send it in to your head of year, to Mr. Simmons, to Miss Butler, to whoever it happens to be, and we'll really appreciate it and enjoy it. And hopefully you've been enjoying a few of them while I've been speaking. I want to thank everybody on the subject of people doing great work, on the people that put the great effort on contributing to ABBA's SOS. So thank you to Mr. Tierney for putting that together. It goes live this afternoon, so look out for the notice, listen out for the song. Well done if you contributed. I hope you can hear yourself in there. And thank you to Mr. Tierney for setting it all up. And to everybody, whether you contributed or not, enjoy it. It will be fabulous. I know it will, particularly after the success of Erasures Respect in the last lockdown. I'm sure this is going to be equally as good, if not better. So thanks, Mr. Tierney. Well done, everybody. We've got some commendation certificates coming through. What we've got in the first year, gold commendation certificates for James, Daniela, Cameron, Zoe, Jessica, Chingiz, Romeo, Zan, Angela, Philippa, and Ella and Mika. And in the second year, Charlotte and Sophie, gold commendation certificates. And in the third year, Amelia, Emily, and Charlotte. So loads of gold. Silver. In the first year, we've got Vasco, Rose, Lara, Kamaya, Joseph, Emily, Ella, Elizabeth, Elijah, Catherine, Carl, Annie, Amy, and then we've got in the second year we've got Poppy, Emma, and the third year Seb, Hannah, and Florian. So loads of silver certificates in the first, second, and third year there. And bronze in the first year we've got Henry. In the second year we've got Alexia, and then third year Ollie, Jonathan, Cameron, Charlie, Remy, Hannah, Shalini, and Drew. So gold, silver, bronze commendation certificates are plenty. Great work, everybody. So I want to look back firstly at the silver linings and rather than just speak off the cuff today, I have made a few notes because there's lots of things I wanted to look back and remember. And I suppose there's loads of things you could look back and think, well, that was great and that wasn't so great. So I just tried to pick out a few. I think the first thing that stood out for me is everybody's capacity and propensity to learn to use Zoom, Google Meets, Teams, and not just for meeting and chatting the way we might have done previously in the past with apps like Skype, but learning and development and quizzes and things like that. So actually we've made a lot more use of the technology to stay in touch with each other. And of course, it has brought about my favourite statement, which was the favourite, I think, the most popular statement of 2020. It's bound to be the most popular phrase of 2021 as well, which is, can you guess? You're on mute. That's exactly it. So you're on mute was the most used phrase of 2020, and it's probably going to be the most used phrase. And I am forever chatting to people in these meetings and people saying to me, you're on mute, because I'm just babbling away, but without taking myself off mute. What else have we done apart from learning those things? We've watched other people in those meetings, so they may not necessarily enjoy it, I don't know. But Hamworth Parish Council, enjoying Jackie Weaver and others being involved in that. It's given us a few moments of humour, just not because people are always on mute, but actually some of those meetings for the first time have been brought to life. And I think we've enjoyed watching other people's lives through the medium of Teams, Google Meet and Zoom. We've enjoyed spending more time with our family, watching TV, movies, playing games. There's been some new channels around. So I think playing games, spending time with each other, doing things that we probably always love to do and probably did once in a while, but doing them more regularly and more often has been an absolute bonus. Now, I know sometimes with family, you can feel like you're getting under each other's feet, spending too much time, but I would rather spend more time than not with family. And I think it's been a wonderful consequence of the scenario, which is a terrible scenario we're in, to actually get to spend more time with family, more time than we normally would have done because we'd have been dragged, to the four corners of the country and the earth. Tried new things, discovered gifts we didn't know we had, whether it's juggling or knitting or philosophizing. We've read books that we meant to read. We've watched movies we've always meant to see. We've listened to music we've always hoped to listen to. We've worked out what we like and we don't like, and we've expanded our horizons as a result. We've enjoyed things we never probably would have encountered before. More recommendations, more trial and error, more opportunity to experiment. We've walked and we've cycled to places that we wouldn't have done in our local area and maybe a little bit beyond, places we would have normally driven to, and we've missed the view on the journey by the way. So actually walking there, cycling there, we've enjoyed more of it, and we probably know more about some of our neighbours in our local area and some of the heritage, where the local woods and fields are, and nodding and saying hello to people. It's restored that sense of just being a member of your local community and saying hello to people rather than always being busy and on your way to somewhere else out of where you live. So I think that's been a real bonus. Apart from the TV to enjoy, and of course on TV there's been lots of kind of, made up heroes of all kinds and sorts. What's been wonderful is actually to celebrate some real life heroes, particularly in areas like, the NHS. I think that people that wouldn't have been heroes to us before, we very much took them for granted, have become heroes because they've been thrust into the limelight. They come to the forefront of our lives, and we've literally and figuratively and metaphorically applauded them for what they do. So that recognition, not just in the last lockdown, but in this lockdown, has been phenomenal. And we must keep that going. We must never forget that actually these people are real life heroes. So people in the NHS, but often members of our own family as well. people who we live with day to day. Dare I say that maybe even some of our teachers have committed acts of heroism in the way they've continued to teach us online throughout the whole period. So my friends and my colleagues in teaching doing a fantastic job, which is to be absolutely applauded for the efforts they've put in. Our drivers, our delivery drivers, our critical workers, members of our own family, members of our KGS community. Lots of people have done an incredible job and standout characters. Someone I didn't want to mention last week, I thought it was just a bit too close, but I'm delighted to reference him this week, Captain Sir Tom Moore, who inspired us all and really won't be forgotten. I'm going to say more about Captain Sir Tom Moore in a little while, if I may. But the key thing is we recognise that during this very difficult period, difficult because of lockdown, but also because the very real knowledge of people suffering medically and economically because of COVID, the immediate impact of it. We've also got the need to refocus our attention. It's caused us to stop and reflect and make us appreciate those things that maybe we overlooked before in all kinds of ways, things that are very close to us, people that we don't even know, but we've seen stories about. And actually, I think there's been an opportunity there to appreciate what really needs to be appreciated and recognise what really needs to be recognised because it's been thrust into the very core of our lives. So we can be incredibly grateful for the great work that people have done and the inspiration they've offered to us all. And of course, many of them will continue to do that work long after we've stopped appreciating it because it's just what they do and do so well. Looking forward, of course, we're all looking forward to getting back to school and seeing each other, seeing friends, dare I say, seeing teachers, playing sport, performing music, drama, all kinds of co-curricular activities, just hanging out, cinema, popping into town, but going on school trips together and holidays. And whether it is a family holiday or a school trip, I really miss things like the outward bound trips to Wales and Scotland, Mrs. Humphrey's trip to Iceland, school trips to Africa, whether it's supporting Sacred Heart School in Ghana or whether it's hockey tour to South Africa and indeed hockey tours to parts of Europe, the classics trip to Italy and Greece, the skiing trip to the US, alumni trips to the US, cultural trips to China. We do some phenomenal things that we've not had a chance to do for nearly a year now, and there may be a while yet, but when we do get back, that's our kind of wish list for the future, isn't it? To do all those ordinary day-to-day things like just meeting up with friends at school, do the slightly less ordinary things like arranging to go out at the weekend, go to the cinema, go shopping together, go around each other's houses, and then do the extraordinary things, visiting other countries, immersing yourself in their culture and activities, and doing things that, again, you would never have the chance to do unless you were put in that position with that opportunity, such as outward bound or a cultural exchange. So these are phenomenal things that maybe we were in danger of taking them for granted, and now we never will. We'll always appreciate actually that opportunity more than ever. So the immediate hope is that, of course, that vaccination rates continue to kind of increase. I think it's incredibly important that we do hope for the best in terms of vaccination, that the R rates, the infection rates continue to go down. I think it's incredibly important that we do put our faith in vaccination, in science, in the medicine, and thank everybody for all they're doing to make sure that we're looking after those people with COVID, doing all the work to try and prevent people from being infected with COVID, and at the same time vaccinating people against COVID. So actually there's a lot of tiers of work going on at the moment that are stretching our resources, which is another reason why we're in lockdown, to avoid those resources being overstretched. It's important to remember that however difficult it gets, there's a reason why we're doing it. It's an incredibly important one that's going to help us in the future. So that's a really big hope for the future for me. And I suppose a really big hope for the future for me too is also that we can keep all of these lessons we've learned and hold on to them in our hearts and minds, so that when COVID does become a bit of a distant memory, we can still enjoy the simple pleasures of being with family, being with friends, playing games, watching TV together, going on slightly longer walks or bike rides, and not automatically just revert to where we were before. So we're maybe taking greater care of ourselves and the people around us, and maybe taking greater care of the environment as well as a result. And taking care of the environment and environmental issues is, of course, our big theme for the week after half term. So I won't drift too far into that, but that's something to look forward to. And so I'm going to return to the issue, if I may, of someone like Captain Tom, and I'm going to finish with a quote from him, because aside from the fact that he was kind of thrust into the limelight and a little focus and completely justified praise and accolades and admiration that was bestowed upon him for doing what he felt was just a very ordinary act of giving back, a man that had lived his life in a very kind of unselfish fashion, and wanted to do something and do something tangible that would give back, that would mark the moment for him, so he felt like he'd made say a tangible contribution to it. But it was picked up by everybody as a great inspiration, because we were all looking for heroes. We were all looking for actually who's going to stand up and be counted. And in his own quiet, dignified way, Captain Sir Tom Moore, Captain Tom, just did so, just got on with it, just started his walk. So when we came to the story as the general public, he was well on his way. He'd raised a few £1,000s. He'd done a lot of his kind of laps of the garden of his nursing home. And it just grew and grew and grew exponentially, because people just wanted to tap into what it was that he was doing, and why he was doing it, and the kind of person he was, the grit, the determination, the selflessness. It's just an incredible story that everybody, I think, just resonated with everybody, and they wanted to be a part of in a very positive way. So I say it's tangible. It was done with enormous integrity. It was something that everybody tapped into for all of the right reasons and celebrated, and all of that admiration and all the accolades that came were entirely justified, because it was based on a very simple premise of giving back. And so the quote I've chosen, and there are plenty, we know this is kind of, I'm sure in time there'll be a film, but there's been a book and there's been lots of articles and interviews. But the quote that I wanted to use is from Captain Sir Tom, who said, and this is now, I suppose, him speaking through me to all of you: for those people finding it difficult at the moment, the sun will shine on you again and the clouds will go away. Which I think is a lovely thought to have in terms of the benefits, some of the silver linings we've had, but more particularly those hopes of the future moving forward. The sun will shine on you again, and the clouds will go away. My hope for the future, that I hope resonates with that, is that at the end of lockdown and the end of COVID, I say when COVID does become a distant memory and we're all vaccinated, that the world does become a little bit kinder, and that all of you will play your part in being one of those rays of sunshine that helps to shed a bit of light and a bit of warmth on others, and make the hope that the world can be a bit kinder, a bit better, not just for us, but for everyone. Make that hope a reality. Because I think if we can learn anything from this experience, and if we can have hopes of the future, it's that things can and will be better. But more than just hope for it, I think we've got to make that happen. And you're the kind of people that can make that happen. So I put my faith in you. Have a wonderful half term, everyone. I'll see you all soon. Headmaster out.